Hello everyone. I'm delighted to welcome you to Thursday's stream. We're going to be talking today about writer's block. Writer's block is a concept I love talking about. And I love talking about it because I don't actually believe writer's block is real. I don't think it's a real thing. So if you're someone who is struggling with writer's block, if you're struggling to get your creative ideas off of the ground, then you've landed in the right place. And before we get started, what I want to do is I want to let my club members know that I'm going live right now. If you were in my club, you would be getting all the notifications. And then we're going to get into it, and I'm going to speak with you about writer's block. So who am I to talk to you about writer's block? Well, I'm a songwriter from Edinburgh in Scotland. Over the last 15 years, I've created 10 albums. I've built 700,000 followers. I have a creative health club. There's 950 of us in there. We'd love to welcome you to come and join us. If you want to come and join us, all you need to do is drop a comment saying club, and I will send you a link. I've produced dozens of albums for other people. And so I know a thing or two about writer's block. And let me start by saying the worst time I ever had it was when I was 22 years old. I made my first album when I was 21 years old. And let me know, guys, if you can hear me, by the way. Let me know if the sound's okay. Should be cool. I made my first record when I was 21 years old. And it's challenging because when you make your first album, you essentially have a lifetime's worth of work to draw from. You have your entire life of experiences, you have your entire life of ideas, of seeds, if you like, and you can just pick a few of them and get writing. And so my first album was called Airs and Graces. I made it with a renowned producer called John Wood, who produced a lot of material for people like Nick Drake, people like John Martin, Kate and Anna McGarrigle. They're not globally famous, but they're very well renowned within the folk music circuit, and I looked up to him a great deal, and it was an amazing experience to get to work with a consummate professional at that early stage in my career. And what I learned from him, two big lessons. Number one, material matters. Number two, performance matters. He wasn't really big into fancy microphones or equipment, and I learned a lot about just getting stuff done, and that ties into what we're going to talk about today. Because if you're an artist and you've been struggling to create results in your life, if you're a creator on social media and you've been struggling to create results online, it comes down to the same thing, and the thing is fear and your relationship to fear. So as I said at the start of our discussion today, I don't believe in writer's block. I don't think it's real. What I do believe in, however, is fear. I know that fear is real. And what I want to offer you today, if you were going to take anything away from our time together today, the thing I really want to offer you is how you relate to your own fear is going to dictate your level of success in your business, as an artist, as a writer, whatever it is that you're setting out in your life to do. How you relate to your own fear is going to dictate the success. Fear is like a fire in your life. You can use fire to cook food, or a fire can burn your house to the ground. And the difference between me as a consummate professional, as someone who generates a lot of results in the world, and people who don't, is I'm not afraid of negative emotion. It's literally as simple as that. I'm not afraid to experience negative emotion in my life, because I want to encourage you to think about this. If you were willing to feel negative emotion, you would be able to create any result that you want to create in your life. That might sound far-fetched, but let me explain what I mean. If the worst thing that can happen is a feeling, is embarrassment, is fear, anxiety, shame, dread, terror, those are kind of the worst emotions we can experience. And believe you me, if you set out to have a public-facing job and be successful, you are going to experience those emotional states. But what is a feeling? If you really break it down, if you really think about it, it's interesting. You're only ever sitting down, you're walking, you're lying down, and the rest is all our stories that we tell about the situations that we're in, or the vibrations that we're experiencing in our body. So that's what a feeling is. It's how your body vibrates, and there's positive vibrations and there's negative vibrations. But what I see so many of you guys make the mistake of is you begin on the path, you begin on the journey, you begin to experience negative emotion, and then you tell yourself that's a reason for you to stop. And what I want to offer you is that it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. It doesn't mean that there's any kind of problem. It simply means that you're a human being. Each human has within us a chimp and a human. And the human and the chimp, there's a brilliant book about this called The Chimp Paradox. The human and the chimp are in constant relationship with each other. What does the chimp care about? The chimp cares about ego, saving face, preservation, preserving what you have. Whereas when you want to build, when you want to grow, when you want to get yourself out there, what inevitably happens is your chimp thinks this is a terrible idea, we can't do it, keep what we have, don't break anything, stay safe, stay small, right? So what is writer's block? Let's get into it. Let's really think about it. Writer's block is a story that you have, that you're telling yourself that you're not able to write. It's simply that. Because you could, if you were a writer, say, the brown fox jumped over the fence and then it lived happily ever after, right? That you could then say, I wrote a story. Is it a good story? No. Does it matter? No, it doesn't. Because when you're writing, what it's like, I want you to imagine going into an old house and turning on the tap and it's kind of chugging out dirty water for ages and then the water runs clear. That is how writing works. That's exactly how writing works. Take it from me. I've written 10 albums and I'm telling you that is how writing works. On my latest record, I discovered that because I had all of these ideas and they were all incredibly bad ideas. But what I had to do was I had to get through the bad ideas in order to create the good ideas. Christine Campbell says, I thought you were an up-and-coming singer, not a shrink. Well, Christine, it's interesting that you say that because anybody who's publicly putting themselves out there and creating a lot of art in the world and creating a lot of results in the world has to be able to have a strong mindset and coach themselves through it. And actually, you might not know this, Christine, but actually I have a club and there's 950 of us in there and I coach on creative confidence. And so if you're someone who's interested in learning how to live a more creatively fulfilling life, a more creatively confident life, come and join us. Anyone who wants to come and join us, comment club, and you're going to get a link to come and join us. Writer's block is the fear that you're going to put yourself out there. People are going to see you do something and they are going to not like what you do and you're going to look bad, right? But if you're not afraid of looking bad, if you're willing to experience the negative emotion of looking bad in front of people, you can get anything you want. So, as I was mentioning earlier, my second album was very difficult, and it was difficult because I'd had a lifetime to create my first album. I've created 10 albums now. You can go listen to all of them. Search for Adam Holmes, like Sherlock. But my second album, I was struggling. I had to come up with a lifetime's worth of ideas in just 3 months, having had 10, 15 years to create the whole first album. And what I did, guys, this is how I got over my writer's block, is I said, I'm going to write a song a day for 90 days, and I'm going to pick the best 10, and I'm going to make an album out of it, and I'll put it out and just say that was the best I could do. So a lot of writer's block is actually you just need to make a decision. You need to decide that you're not going to do writer's block. You can say to yourself, I don't do that. That's not something that I do. I recently set one of my clients this challenge because they were really struggling with writer's block. And I said to him, well, listen, how long would it take you to write 100 songs? And he said, doing the maths in my head, probably 4 years. And I said to him, okay, how long would it take you to write 100 really bad songs? And he said, a month. I said, brilliant, that's what we're going to do then. And so I set him the challenge to write 100 bad songs in a month. And ultimately, that's the challenge I want to set to you today. Let me know in the comments, what is it that you are struggling with right now? Are you struggling with getting your book started? Are you struggling with getting more active on social media? Are you struggling with releasing your own music? Are you struggling with getting a piece of art finished? Let me know in the comments. I'm up for coaching a couple of you guys on this live right now. But what I want to challenge you to do is, rather than thinking I'm going to create the perfect art, what I want to challenge you to do is do 30 to 90 days of creating bad art and get it out, put it out there, because it doesn't matter. When I set out on the journey to create, at the time I wanted to create 10,000 followers. I now have 700,000 followers. And when I set out on that journey, what happened was I had to just create a lot of really, really bad content. And I want to offer you that when you get into the mindset of how can I just create a lot of stuff, that's really where the juice is. That's really where the improvement is. Amy, offering help, thank you. Amy clarifies that you saying that that's where you're struggling? Is that where you're struggling to create results in your life? Clarify that for me, and I'm up for coaching a couple of you guys on the call right now. If anyone's got anything that they're in specific struggling with as an artist, it might be within your business, it might be within something that you want to create. If anyone wants to ask a question, now's the time. And the bottom line really is, if you want to create a lot of results in your life, you just have to get comfortable creating a lot of bad work. Put the hours in. That's the path. That is how you get better. And that's how you consistently keep getting better. So let me know what your favorite point was from today's chat. And if you guys are not already in my club, please do come and join us. There's nearly 950 of us in there, and we coach on creative content, confidence. There's content in there. There's exclusive content in there. If you want to come and join, drop a comment saying club. I'll send you guys a link to come and join us and have a beautiful